Hi, John. I'm Tom Dyer, Green Monkey Records president. I'm here with the mastermind of the of, John Carey. So let's start out with the of, basic history of the of, John. How did it start? How did it happen?
There were two large portions of cheese, and it went from that. I actually started the band as a rebellious act against my friend Jim because he didn't like the lyrics of my great magnum opus choral piece that I didn't actually write called Of. And so I named my band The Of, which is invisible to search engines. I don't know, I had to do something. I made a recording studio and I wanted to play music, so
Was it originally like a 4-piece, 5-piece when you started out, or was it just you?
it was me, but that was boring. I did some electronica called Lucifer Fudd, which you can find on MySpace and nowhere else. I don't even have that music. Only MySpace has it, and they won't give it back. But it was boring being part of nothing. Like, music is for humans, and so I had to get humans to play my music in order to get humans to listen to my music.
And so you're out in Roslyn, right? Easy to find musicians out there?
No.
Tell me about the music that you guys play. This is your compositions, right?
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
that's the point.
But I'm saying, you told me once that you write out sheet music for Ian.
Yeah.
You write out sheet music for everyone?
Yeah. I don't always have to. I mean, we use head charts whenever possible just because it's quicker. I mean, it takes a long time to write stuff out, especially if it's, I'm not like the most literate guy ever, but I'm realizing that I enjoy composing more than actually even performing the music. So I have to learn to be literate enough to at least write my ideas down, and then these guys can, they can read, and I compose things that I know that they can't play, like orchestral stuff. It what I found out about getting your stuff played by an orchestra is that it has absolutely nothing to do with your talent or how good your piece of music is. It's the worst kind of nepotism that there is. People who are getting to play with the Seattle Symphony Orchestra backing them up, they don't even know what an arrangement is, much less who the poor guy is that did all this work for them on their behalf. They're entitled, coddled little poops that play Americana and get lucky. Now, I want to do those sorts of works, but I have to find alternative strategies. I'm still working on that, but anyway, so I write orchestral pieces, and then I also write music for the band, and I like the band to, I try and give them interesting things, and a lot of times what happens is I imagine what it would be like if we could actually play these things live, and what it would be like to be on stage playing in front of people doing this stuff, and how people might react to it, and which is completely irrelevant to what it ends up being. I mean, there's no way of knowing how people will react to it, and it always turns out differently than I write it or imagine it.
You were in the Refusers.
I was in the Refusers.
What was that like?
I don't know. It was a weird time in my life because I was going from wretched street loser to even worse in a hurry. I was playing in the Queen Anne's, and the Queen Anne's, we did a show with the Refusers at UCT Hall, and we were playing a song, and here comes Roach Refuser, bless his soul, dearly departed. He comes running up on stage, grabs the microphone, and says, "You're fucking ripping off the Refusers, man!" And he's just right in the middle of the song, and the band's kind of like, "Huh, what?" And one of our little group people, one of the girls came up and took exception to it. Oh, me. She didn't get it, and soon a rumble ensued in which the blood of many girls was spilled, and I was like, I love this guy, and so I kind of kept that in my back pocket, and I was enamored of them. They were so good. The first punk rock show I ever saw when I was 16 was the Refusers too, by the way, which was that was Bradshaw, Refuser, and Danny Barton. I have Danny Barton's oak table in my living room, and I'll never give it back. And that was great. I was 16 years old, and I got just slammed to the floor, and people stepped on my nuts, and what could be better? It was nothing political or anything like that. It was just like there's just so much energy, so much rock and roll, and people are just like bashing around, and 16-year-old boy can understand that, right? Yeah, and I didn't know I was going to end up being in the midst of them, and basically by the time I joined, like bad shit had happened to that band, and they never really recovered their status. The most overlooked band in Seattle history, in my opinion. What are you looking for?
Put on the helmet.
I place upon my head the crown jewel of them. This is a sad and pathetic cry for attention, and I'm pretty sure that it does kind of work. Turns out if you wear one, it's lights on it. Can I do this? Oh,
you can do that. Yeah,
did I?
Sure.
Did I do
the
it?
Lights are on.
Man,
Yeah.
how do I?
Yep.
All right. Well, what do you think of me now?
So what made you decide to wear a colander?
I don't know. Just something stupid to do.
And how did everybody else in the band? Were they pretty happy to be
I
wearing
insisted.
colanders?
No. Fuck no. They don't like it at all. They do it because they know they have to. I mean, it's what we do. And, they're lucky that I just said, okay, colanders are cool, because it could be, we could have tuna as epaulets or who knows.
Okay, let's see.
Okay, Mr. Videographer. Story of my life.
Story of your life? You were born.
We all were born. And
Where were you
all
born?
will
You're
die.
a Bellevue brat.
No, I was born in Newburgh, Oregon. I'm a Willamette River swimming, salamander catching, baseball throwing little son of a bitch. And then I didn't.
But you went to Bellevue High School, didn't you?
Eventually.
Exactly. That's
It
a
was
long way
horrible.
from Newburgh.
Yeah. Culturally, it's as far as you could go. Might as well have been on Mars. Yeah, that ruined my whole life, but it also gave me the chip on my shoulder that it's still driving. I mean, that's really honestly it. Because I went there, and I was accepted by some people, the pranksters and such, but I was never going to make it. There was no fucking way that I was going to go with, country boy meets giant clique of Evergreen Point rich kids with their fucking Jeeps and stuff. Like, no, they didn't like me, and I didn't like them, and the music teachers at the school hated my fucking guts, which I don't blame them. I would have hated me too, but I was doing things like they'd show up at 7 o'clock, and there I would be, at 16, like strung out on coke for 2 or 3 days and playing bass, and I prepared their piano. Yes, that's right. I was like screws and playing cards on their piano strings. So I'm going cling, clang, 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 clang. Do you want to walk into that with a hangover? And no, who would want to? But that's where I met the Queen Anne, so it wasn't all bad. I also met all the guys of the world outside who were. That was my first band in high school, and I had 2 drummers, both of whom are like world-class guys that are working out, real professional musicians, and we all this. I was writing songs for that. That's how I got started on all this like weird, like writing instrumentals and strange rhythms and stuff, because they could do it and they wanted to do it, and so we went in a different direction than.
Okay, John, this is it. So, if somebody has never heard any music by the Of, and they ran into this interview on YouTube or whatever, what's the first thing they should listen to?
You should listen to the entire album of Oh It's the Of, and then you should listen to the next record, and hopefully by the time you're done with that, we'll have another one made. But
So they should start out with
at
the French
beginning.
fries.
Yeah, absolutely. Take the take the whole ride. I mean, if you can't handle it, the nice thing is fast forward. If you don't like something, do what the rest of the world does. Click that little button. There's no need to pay attention. No need to listen and think about it. You can just jump ahead until you hear something that you like. But I think that one is kind of like it's just like it's a spurt. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with the band necessarily, and it kind of by the time it was done, it became I knew what I wanted to do with the band, and then you can hear the second album, maybe you can hear it, that we're like starting to get more focused on different ideas, but go from the beginning and move on. That's my advice.
Thanks, John. Thanks for doing this tonight.